Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We're building this top-down adventure game. We are almost done with the demo. The demo is going to be up on Steam hopefully within a month. We have very few things left. A lot of what we have left is the final polish of the layout of which art pieces we're using for the town hall here. We got to add some geckos to the dark forest over here. We've got to work on our mobile deployment for the website with the saving and loading. So we have to test some opening cinematic stuff. So maybe we'll start there with the opening cinematic and just make sure that's working. And then we'll go back to our development because there's a very specific script in the opening cinematic that triggers the mage's wall to activate. And once you're playing, it's activated, or it's not activated because we didn't trigger it. So I had to trigger it here, which is why you see the stuff spawn and then dip out. So we also need to add the loot to the actual inventory here. So once we get the loot, it should pop up as an equipable item, which right now we have it manually inserted, which works, but it won't work for the demo. So we've got to figure that out. So I guess the first thing we should do is let's change into the title state and we'll just play it out and see what messes up, if anything. And I do want to also come into our dependencies, maybe. It's called text. What's it called? Dialogue 1. So Dialogue 1, I just want to turn down the volume by maybe half. I want it to be quiet, right? So it's not too loud and doesn't bug anyone. Okay, so here is the title screen state, so it should, you know what, it should, it's because, shoot man, it's because we have a save file. Yeah, it's because we have a save file there. So, let's, nuke our save file and then start. Yeah, so we're just going to name our save data bin. It is a backup of, and we'll just put 823 at 1950. Okay. So this should give us the opening cinematic once we start here. Okay, so we do get the opening cinematic, but it is jacked up. Alright, fuck. Okay. Wrong music. Okay, but the cinematic works, technically. Okay, so yeah, the first thing that's broke is getting the loot. Actually, you can't even open. This is in the play state. So if you get the loot there, we need to make sure. Oh, you can't even open your inventory in here. Okay, so you can't even open your inventory here. So I guess this is okay. See this wall shouldn't be here. Yeah. Okay, so we just have to fix the, okay, so now it's in the play state. Okay, so we change into the play state upon finishing the opening cinematic. So we've got to turn off the mage wall. And then also We can test it. We should put the lute equip here, and we can toggle it out for the play state for development. We just need it to be working for the demo. So we need to make sure to have that. Let's do this. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to our we have a mage magic wall. No? Mage wall. It's a mage magic wall object, so or field. Okay, so look, toggle for deployment. Let's see. So we should get the opening cinematic again. Nice. It didn't load it. It didn't trigger it actually. But I can trigger it there. So we have to fix how that triggers. Kill the music, and then we probably need either. We can put the mage's dungeon music there instead of that one. So this is okay. Look, there's the magic wall. It'll walk us up. Okay, so that's good for that. Do we show Flamma for the show off? Let's see. Ooh. What? Mage intro drop trigger. It didn't have a particle system because we have it right here where we put in a wall here. Okay. Well, it needs a particle system to exist before I can update it, so... Okay. I want a sound there for when we get Flamma. I don't know if we've got good stuff. Fuck, dude. Really? It was right here. We can't activate the particle system until we have it. Activate. Don't remember the difference. That's okay. We dropped 1800 frames already. Do we blame the weather on that one? Oh, thank God. Okay, we didn't break it. But now we should have the loot in hand, and we don't. Well, we should only get the loot when we grab the loot. But there's two states we could grab the loot, and it is the opening cinematic state as well as the play state here. But whichever one we grab it in, we should have the loot at that point. And then the mage wall is stuck there. Okay, so that seems like it's working. Let's just save and load and make sure the mage wall is active. Because I don't know if we load anything for the mage wall. So let's test saving and loading real quick. Okay, and I'm actually gonna quit and load the game just to see. It should load from the save file. Good. Okay. Oops. Oh, see, it's not here. Fuck. Okay. If you save, we need to activate this mage wall. Look at Mage just chilling there, out of screen. Yeah, we need to add this particle system, because this is, we're only assigning the particle system here in the intro top trigger. It should be in the map declarations. Yeah, I want to say this one. This is in the mage intro top trigger. We should put the particle systems into the map declarations, I want to say. Do we have any P systems in here? Oh, see, look. Oh, toggle for mage, toggle for deployment. So we're saying, oh, see, look. So, okay, so the hard thing is when we play the game from a fresh start, there needs to be not collidable map objects. So I think what we really needed to toggle was the collidable map objects, and we'll leave those off. But we need to, in the declarations, give us the magic wall and activate it. Oh, shit. Okay, activate it. We say active is false on this one, true on this one. Because here, shit. You know what? We leave it out. We leave it out from there because that actually gets triggered. Oh God, we actually, let's see. Let's see if it loads first. Let's see if it loads. Nope. Okay. Bad. So the map declarations, it has this. It just does not think it is activated. So here, when we do this thing, like activate, we need to do this upon a successful load as well. So when we do a load player data, for right now, we can do it here. Yeah, upon a load player data, we want to do this where we can say, God, can that even work? We should activate the particle system, activate the wall. So let's see when we load if the mage wall is there. Okay, so I'm gonna see if the mage wall is there blocking us, or if we need to maybe do the mage wall activation. Nope, it is there. Oh fuck, we do need the wall activation though, because the particle system's there, but the frickin', objects or not. So if we load it, we know we need, if we load our game, we know we also, collectible map objects. This is not good because there's more collectible map objects than just the mage wall barrier, right? There's all the other stuff. There's the walls and all that stuff. So we kind of have to say, we can't just, I mean, I guess we could insert another collidable map object in there. It's just kind of messy. Should we do that? Should we try? Should we? I don't like that because if it copies over the collidable map objects, this is only on a save player load. So anytime we load, we'd copy it over. Anytime we, I guess this technically would work. Let's see if it loads the wall in place. And then we'll test to see if it works without a save file from scratch, and we'll see. Should probably warp over here so we can test it faster. Okay, so there's walls up, and the collidable map objects are up. Cool. Okay. So let's see. Let's nuke our save file and see if the mage magic wall is correct. So we just nuked our save file, so it should start from the opening cinematic. We have to trigger it, which we have to fix still. Okay, so here's the cinematic. What we're testing is if the mage wall has no collidable boundaries, because we didn't technically load the game, so we should walk up here, yes, and trigger that. Okay, so that's good. So the question is now, once he gives us Flama and walks off, if the collidable map objects are still there, and then if we save it, they're still there. So let's see. So he walks up. If we try to follow him, it gets stuck. That's right. If we walk out and back in, it's still up. And then if we go and walk and save it and load it, we'll load it from an actual starting point too. So we saved it, load it, and we'll see if the wall is still there. Okay, particle system up and the wall's still up. Great. Great. Okay, so that's basically it. Now there is that one thing of when the particle system gets initted, it like spreads out some particles that it isn't supposed to, and it looks weird. Once it's initted, it's fine. So like anytime you load it for the first time, whenever the particle system gets updated for the first time, you see it kind of like hiccup and then it gets situated. So that's the only thing I'd want to maybe fix with that, but we have not cared that much about the particle system. So I mean, it's like it's only a couple frames. It looks a little strange. It is ultimately a little weird, but I don't know when we're gonna get around to fixing it. Okay, so I think what we want to do now is we want to actually assign the loot into our inventory once we grab it, either from the mage intro top trigger cinematic or from the play state. So right now when we do this, I think it's called loot equip, loot obtained, that's what it is. Okay, so right now we're saying loot obtained and we give it to the player here. What we need to do, and our system is kind of built out where loot is always in 1-1. It's just because when we're switching it and saving it, we just load stuff very specifically. So actually this could, well, you know what, no, you're able to switch it. If you have two items, you're able to switch them around, and when you save it, I think when you save it and load it, it just defaults to a defined order, so it doesn't save exactly as is. I'm pretty sure that's the case, but we can test that. But I need to actually give us this loot when we get the loot. So there is there's 2 states where we do this, and we do this in the intro cinematic. What's it called? Opening cinematic. Yeah, we should have. Do we have a loot anything here? Because it's like it exists. We're not in the play state here in this opening cinematic, but we still can open things like, collide with an active dialog box or a collidable map object for a treasure chest. So we can do this where we can say, well, in the opening cinematic, if we've collided with a collidable map object that was a class type of treasure chest and it wasn't already opened, then we're going to go ahead and open that chest. So at this point in time, we would need to give our global inventory the item loot, and we should probably flush it. I want to say we should probably flush it in case anything weird, like we should basically just like reset it to an empty table so that when we table that insert, we're not just like keep on inserting stuff. And I don't know if that really matters, but let's see if we get a loot in our system once we open it here. There is I want to say there is like a loot field in the treasure chest object. Is there? Oh, it's an item. Oh, item. So in the item, there's a thing that it's a type, and the type is an option, and the option is a string, and the string is loot. So the item dot option, item dot type is the option. So item dot type would be loot. So we can say, we can do something similar to this, because it's like in the game, could you technically not grab the loot and go get the potion, the magic potion before the loot? And yeah, you technically could. So the question is, like, if we're inserting into the grid 1-1 for this, does our magic, gosh man, this is not so great. We're getting away with cheating a little bit because we only have the 2 items. So there's only 2 slots. You can either be in grid 1 or grid 2 for the active non-key item slots. But I don't know what to do here. I don't know. We need to make a bigger order decision on how we handle the inventory, because right now, how we treat it, at least when we save and load, like if we look at when we save our player data, when we go to actually save whether or not we have the loot, we have this thing where we say, what is it? Right here. Basically, if it's not nil, if the first slot is not nil, we copy whatever's in there. Otherwise, it's just going to be nil. If the next one, if there is a thing in the next one, inventory, and item slot. Oh, the item slot. Okay, yeah. So we're looking for the dot grid, which is the inventory. So basically, we say, well, if there is a thing in our grid, which thing we put in our grid is the items. If there is an item, then we're going to say, let's go snag the type of the only item in there and the quantity. And it says, and it puts it into grid 1-1. Okay, so no, we do save it to individual stuff. So if you swap over your items and then save it and load it, it should remember the same thing, because it remembers what was in grid 1-2, saves it, and loads it from, as long as our load loads it from the 1-2 or 1-1, whatever it is, then we should be good to go. So it should be, yeah, right here. Grid 1-1, grid 1-2, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I guess the idea is the initial slot we unlock. So like, let's say there's a new item called nuts or whatever for birds. Let's say there's a nuts item. We would put it at grid 1-3 because there's one more column up on grid 1 on the first row. And we would only kind of hard code the instantiation of it at that one time, because you can get different order. See, no, this is different. See, I'm trying to talk it out, because if you get, let's say there's a nut, and then let's say there's a berry, right? And the berry is going to be on the next second row. But you don't get the nut, and the nut's on the third column in the first row, and you get the berry. Then, if you swap anything over, you can swap a lute in the berry slot. You can swap a potion in the berry slot. And then if you save and load, you can only put those existing slots you've used. Okay, this technically does work, as long as we keep the hard coding of the 1-1 and the 1-2, and we're copying over just like that. So that should work. So I guess what we need to do at this point is do this, where we say, well, grid item 1-1 is a lute. If they get a potion, they can only swap it into their item slot or back in the inventory. So it can only be in that one slot. So when we get the lute, we can say, we know you're in grid 1-1. We can even flush your table, insert a lute item into 1-1. Yeah, so if this is in the opening cinematic, we need something similar to this for the not opening cinematic. So for our play state, when we run this open chest, we need to ask if it's a type of lute. So when we run this open chest, if it's a type lute, so look, we have the contents. We also have an option, don't we? Contents. We have an option. So when we instantiate the lute, do we assign the contents? Now, lute class is actually for the musical lute, but lute, actually, yeah, this is all for the musical lute, not for the lute that's in our inventory system. So there's one called lute obtain, really. Lute equip. Okay. It's just an item, and it's a type lute. So, okay, so do contents come from the type? If we could look at the item class, contents are not copied over. So we would just have to do the option, the self-taught option. The first param is the dot type, pulling the option. Because we don't save the option anywhere other than the dot type, which is a little weird, but we can do that. Save it as a dot type. So let's go when we open chest, and this is in the treasure chest item. When we open chest, we're gonna say if the self dot option, does it have an option, is equal to lute by the time you open it, then we need to put 2 lines in here. Actually, just the 1 line. And actually, yeah, we don't have to do this. It's just that I don't know why I feel like if we just flush it could make our lives easier. Okay, so we put in a lute if the option was a lute on the chest. Now the treasure chest, this isn't right? Self-contents. We do have a contents as a lute. Contents. So treasure chest is different than, okay, well, let's do contents. Contents is loot. Okay, if there's a loot in the box we're opening, go ahead and put loot in our freaking 1-1 slot. Now, if you never open lute, nothing will be in your 1/1 slot because you can only swap it from your item slot. So right now, no lute. Hopefully we didn't open it and then save it. But let's see. Okay, so there's the thing. Now we don't have a lute. We open the chest. The contents were a lute. And now we have a lute that we can equip and use. Cool. Okay, let's test it in the opening cinematic. So let's flush our... Yeah, let's test it in the opening cinematic. What we're trying to see is if we can grab it before we even have an inventory, making sure it still works. So we're gonna nuke our save file real quick. Try it again. So what we're looking for is the opening cinematic to start us, and then we're gonna load. We're gonna open the chest, get the loot, finish the cinematic, and then check our inventory, see if the loot is in there, and then we're gonna save it, load it, see if the loot is still in there. So we're gonna get the loot first thing here. Okay, we don't have a inventory just yet, but we can trigger this, and then as soon as he gets us Flama, it triggers the play state, which should allow us to open our inventory. So let's see. Okay, so he walks up there. We've got it in our inventory, so I'm going to equip it and save the game, and then we're going to load and see if we both load and have the loot in the inventory system. So we're going to save it here at the idle. Okay, I'm going to quit. We're going to see if the loot's equipped in the load. We should have it unlocked and equipped. Thank you. Okay, it's there. Okay, so we've got the mage wall fixed for the cinematic. We've got the loot saving and loading working on both the play state and the opening cinematic. Now we need to trigger the opening cinematic properly from the start. So there's an opening cinematic that we change to if we play a game and there's no save file, and I'm not seeing where I see. Well, if there's no save file, we start it, like we load it, but it doesn't trigger mage to walk in, or the right Tashio thing. So I don't know what's going on with that, but basically, yeah, if there's no save data exists by the time we're saving it? No, this is by the time we're loading it. Load player data. If no save data exists, then we're going to change to the opening cinematic. Okay, so what happens when I press L then? Because this isn't actually starting the cinematic. There's something wrong. In the opening cinematic, there might be a thing we're doing. Oops. Dude, what? You know, doing something in here. So what is the step, right? Because things don't start happening until we're step 1. And do we initialize as step 1? We do. Okay, and mage step 1 is false. So what are we doing when we change to this state? We're saying, well, for step 1, let's move our mage. So let's nuke our save file and see if mage walks in, because I don't think he does. I really don't think he does. I think he's busted. Yeah, see, look, we're meditating. Oh, Would meditating stop the update of something else? What the heck? Yeah, we can play in the cinematic, so it should be... I don't know what would trigger Mage 1. Mage 1 should be hit, because if we were to print up the state, we're in the opening cinematic. We're updating the scene view, we know that much. We got the lava system. We know that's updating. So this is all running, so, and we're step 1, so step 1 should be the mage moving. So why does it not trigger that? Let's print up the state. I mean, we have to be in that state. We have to be. Mage step 1 is true. Mage step 1 is false and then true. Mage step 1. We don't even use mage step 1. Okay, we don't use mage steps at all. Right? Yeah, we don't use it. We don't even... Oh yeah, we do use Tashio step. Okay. So why is our mage not... So our... For some reason, we're meditating, right? When we load. So when we load and it is load player data, the one thing at least I know we have to do is say if we load and there's no save file exists, load player data. If no save data exists, then we want to change the player to player death state, but we want to also change our player's meditate to false, because we don't want his you know, we want to see him passed out. We don't want to see him meditating. So let's see. He's still meditating, and then we can still walk. So we can still walk. What has changed on this? Like, there was cinematic, player cinematic maybe. Cinematic. There's a player state. I wanna say it's called cinematic. Player state, player cinematic. Cause that should stop it. That's what I thought we had to stop the player from moving. But that's a whole different issue of rendering the wrong meditate, right? Load player data. I think it's player cinematic on the player like this. Okay, we can still walk. So I guess the question is, are we in the play state on accident? Are we in the play state somehow? Let's go. We gotta be in the play state because I don't think we're allowing our character to move. Do we have a state render? We don't. Let's just do... I want to say we have a global string called state machine? No? Player state? Should be called game state. It should be called like game state or something. Player state, walk, cinematic. Okay, I guess it is the player state. We're in the opening cinematic state, I know, because we're loading it. We're seeing the lava render, right? See why? We shouldn't be able to go from a freaking cinematic to a walk. Now, what's weird is I hit load, and then it plays like it should. So... Maybe maybe if we do this, we can say, well, we know we need a player death state for here, but we can also, what, do we just load our freaking, we don't have our, this is our load. So why does loading twice fix the issue, but loading once, well, you know what? Oh, well, okay, so yeah, we're loading player data even though there's no save file. So we're still loading because they hit start game, so it goes to load. Now in the load, when you don't have a save file, it'll come here, and the save data does not exist if we don't have the binary for it. Okay, and then, so I guess what happens is we change our state to the opening cinematic, which is why we get the rendering right. This is still rendering wrong. This is technically right, but we're meditating, which is wrong. So we're doing something where, see, well, we do hit an early break here, so we don't load anything. So where is our player's meditate defaults? Like meditate init, I guess, would be under a .meditate. Not in a dialog box, it's in a player. Oh god. Meditate gets false in the player walk state. Meditate option. Do we not initialize it in the player? We don't really initialize it anywhere. Let's go to our player class. And we'll just make sure meditate. Wow, we don't have it. So yeah, we're just gonna say meditate false on the init. Because we pulled the meditate state from loading, but we need it to not be meditating when we first load it. There we go. Oh no, he's still meditating. What the and we can walk out of it, dude. So okay. I'm not sure why the cinematic isn't working. We know we're in the cinematic. We're rendering the lava particles. Our player can walk even though they're in the cinematic state, which is like completely illegal. So if we look at what this player cinematic state is, there's no update. So how would you, yeah, you can't get out of a cinematic, yeah, you're just there, you render your current animation. So, yeah. We must be, okay, here, in our main, what I'm gonna do is try to say this and say, let's put the global state machine dot current dot state name, and we'll see the current state. Print, yeah, string expected. Fair enough. Yep. See, it thinks we're in the freaking play state, not the freaking opening cinematic state. Oh, here. See, look, we change to a play state. It's almost like we have to decide whether or not. Okay. So look, if save data needs loading, what do we do with this? Save data needs loading. What do we do with this? If SATA, so this is in our what? Play state. Okay, we're gonna load it. Okay. So it's basically just a thing on our play state that we can just trigger loading player data. So what I think I want to do is say, well, if there's no file here, don't change the play state, change to opening cinematic, because this is the title screen state. We don't, because technically, well, I think what's happening is, yeah, we hit start, save data needs loading, so we go to a play state, but then when we're in the play state, we have save data that needs loading, so therefore we go to say, okay, so we're going to load player data. Then when we load player data, we're saying, okay, well, the thing doesn't exist, so we're going to change to the opening cinematic of the state machine if nothing exists. This should work. So I'm thinking this isn't. I'm thinking this isn't hitting. I'm thinking this isn't quite working. So let's try this one more time, because we should have a global state machine of this opening cinematic, and it still thinks it's play state. So it still thinks it's play state. That's why we can walk around here, and it's not till we hit L do we actually go to opening cinematic. So I guess what we could do, we would need to require Bitzer. No, love file system info. Okay. So I think I kind of want to do it here instead. So instead of in the load, right? Because loading, we should never really need to trigger anything regarding the opening cinematic in the load, because the opening cinematic's only if there's nothing to load. So I'm going to take it out of the load, and we're going to instead put it here in the title screen state, because that's how a player can start a new game, right? So if there's no data that exists, then we're going to change to the cinematic. Otherwise, we say it needs loading, and then we're going to change to the play state if it just needs loading and not the cinematic. And then player death is right. Okay, this should be it. So this is now triggering in the title screen and not in the load. So 61, title screen state 61. Oh, early break. We don't need that. Okay, state machines and no value. Entity. Why? G state machine is empty at this point in time? Nah, no way. No way. State machines and no value. Entity 169. Why there? State machine change name. Do we have it wrong? Opening cinematic. Opening cinematic. Opening cinematic. Yes, just like that, man. You're not nil. It's just that this is in the main push. Yeah, it shouldn't be no. Okay, well, it doesn't work moving it here. Let's go back to our load. Okay, we've got that back. Okay, so we're just changing to the wrong state, right? We're changing to a play state. So we need to change to this opening cinematic. But when we loaded it, it went to play state. Then in play state, it went to go save data needs loading. Right? Yeah. Actually, if there's... Yeah, there's no save data that needs loading, but this would go to load data and then it would handle if there's data to load or not. So that's kind of weird. Because we used to load the data right here. Yeah, we used to load the data right here. Yeah, I kind of feel like we still need to do this other way. Yeah, I feel like we have to do this, where we have to do this here. Now, the only question is we can't have a G state machine change. It just said it was undefined. But the weird thing is... Where were we? The weird thing is we should have a G state machine, yeah. Oh, dot current. Oh, dot current. Dot current is what we need. Right? Let's go. What we're trying to do is take this non-save file logic out of load and put it to the title screen state. We'll do it here. Yeah. We check if it exists. Say, hey, do we have a save file yet? If we don't, then let's go ahead, do all our stuff. Okay, and it's not G state machine, it's G state machine current. Because we're in a state machine, right? Current, because this is title screen state. So we're changing on the current state machine. I don't know. Current change, and I do that because here we're changing. We're playing the dot state machine here. G state machine. So look, we have a G state machine current. No. Current animatables. That's the one we have. So we're gonna try to do this, change to play state or change dot current, change to opening cinematic. We're gonna try this. Undefined. I think we need that. Okay, cannot. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. This keeps breaking and I don't know why. What we'll do is we'll go back to the load player data function. Really, dude? See, why wasn't that showing up? I typed it just like that. Okay, I'm gonna keep this in here. we got ads starting, so I'll call it a night here. So tomorrow we're gonna continue polishing up for the demo release. We have very few things to do. We have to add a fisherman. We have to add in a new soundtrack for the refinery. We have to get some new pixel arts for the overworld. We got the layout locked, but we need a little bit more pixel art. And then we need testing for saving and loading and play testing. That's, all things considered, very few things left to do for the game. So let's check out our Git diff here. We'll see what we did. We mainly fixed the mage wall for the loading demo barrier. We tested it. We also fixed the loot obtain, actually getting it from a treasure chest and putting it in your inventory. So those two things are good. We still have a little bit to go in terms of polish for the saving and loading for things like what we're trying to do now, which is the starting a game with no save file and loading the opening cinematic. And then once that's done, we can put the proper music there, and then continue testing. So we're doing good. We're doing really good. Hoping to have, let's say here, August, September, let's say demo up, submitting, hopefully by September 20th, September 21st, because we have so few things left. So it depends on how smooth the new art rehaul goes, but I'm not expecting it to take that long. But we added mage wall consistency and added loot obtain on chest open. So that's nice. Thanks for watching, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be I took a little bit off streaming because I was moving and I'm in the new place now. So I'm hoping I can get consistent again with streaming. So we'll be back up at it on the regular now that I'm settled in the new place finally. So thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Let me run credits here. Run credits and call it a night during the ad break. All right. So yeah, we'll find someone to raid out to here. Oh God. Well, we got credits over a cinematic going on. Thanks for watching, y'all. Let's find someone to raid. Ooh, Jitspo. Here, we'll raid this Ayunima. I think she's a team member. Right? Is she a team member? No? Yeah, we'll just hit up Ayunima. I think she's team member. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace out.